We're going to continue looking at composite volume, so just a couple more examples. So continuing on the tab, example 3. So again, you draw two separate shapes, and remember, you're pulling it out, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to subtract. We're not adding two things together, we're pulling something out of something. So we're going to subtract. So let's go ahead and label our shapes. That's 8, and that's also 8, and then the height of that is going to be 4. And then for the cone, it has a diameter of 6, which means the radius has to be 3. Remember, diameter is twice the radius. And then the height is 4. Okay. Once you have that, we need to figure out what formulas we need. So the first one is a pyramid. So we're going to copy down the volume of the pyramid. And the second one is a cone. So volume of a pyramid is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. All right, so what is the base? The base is a rectangle. So go ahead and draw your rectangle. And that's 8 by 8. Actually, it's a square. And what's the area of a rectangle? It's base times height, so 8 times 8, which would be 64. So to find the volume is 1/3 times the area of the base, which we just found to be 64, times the height of the shape, which is 4. Right, put that in the calculator, and again use parentheses when you're using the fraction, 1 divided by 3 in parentheses. And that's going to give me a decimal, but I'm going to leave it as a fraction. Hit math, enter, enter, just because I don't want to round until the very end. And then we're going to subtract the cone, what we're taking out. So the base of the cone is a circle. So how do you find the area of a circle? It's pi r squared from the formula sheet. Area is pi r squared. So what's the radius of this circle? It's 3. So pi times the radius, 3 squared, which is 9, so 9 pi. And then to find the volume is 1/3 times the area of the base, which is 9 pi, times the height of the shape, which is 4. Put that in the calculator with a 3rd in parentheses. And we're going to use pi as 3.14 because it said use pi as 3.14. If it doesn't say use it at 3.14, you leave it as pi. So 37.68. And then to find the total volume, remember it's the pyramid, subtract from the cone. So 256 over 3 in parentheses minus 37.68. This is a listening check. Put a box around the answer and color it in. All right, 47.653333. And as a fraction, that's what it is. But I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth. So that's 2 numbers after a decimal. And then what does the number after 5 do? 3. Nothing. So it leaves it as 47.65. And the units are centimeters cubed. All right, final one. So we have it's 2 separate shapes. And then what are we going to do to them? We're adding them because they're stacked on top of each other. So we're going to add them together. Right, so let's go ahead and label it. Triangle on the bottom. The height is going to be 4. And then the base is 6. And the height of the shape is 15. And then this triangle, the height, the pyramid is 10. And then that triangle is the same as the one in the bottom. So we just transfer the numbers up. So 6, and then the height of the actual triangle is 4. Right, once my shape is labeled, you write down the formula. So what shape is this? This is a prism because I have 2 bases that doesn't meet. So the volume is equal to the area of the base times the height. And then what shape is that? It's a pyramid because it all meets at one point, which is the same thing times a third. All right, let's plug in the numbers. So we need to figure out what does a base look like. It's a triangle, so draw a triangle. And if I'm drawing this thing, you're drawing this thing. All right, so then label the triangle. And how do you find the area of a triangle? It's a half times base times height. So that's a half times a base, which is 6, times a height, which is 4. Put all that in the calculator. Make sure the fraction is in parentheses. This is a listening check. Put a circle around V equals capital B times H. So you get 12. So then the volume is the area of the base, which is 12, times the height of the prism, which is 15. So that's 180. And then we're going to add on the volume of this pyramid. So again, the base is a triangle, so you draw a triangle. To find the area of a triangle is a half times base times height. Plug in the numbers, which is a half times the base, which is 6, the height, which is 4. And you'll realize it's the same triangle there, so the area of the base is the same. And then plug it in. So 1/3 times the area of the base, which is 12, times the height of the pyramid, which is 10. As a listening check, color in the triangle all the way on the right hand side, the one on the bottom, the one to the right of the calculator on the bottom. So you get 40. And then to find the total volume, you're going to add these two shapes together because they're stacked on top of each other. So we're going to get total volume is 180 plus 40, which is 220 inches cubed. I know you can't see, but you can hear me. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So you either add in or subtract it. Let's practice.